on the theme of making booze, you can go down a route of spending a lot of money to make something that you can probably buy cheaper in the shop with better quality, better flavor, blah, blah, blah. You can do the cheap version of getting your own still, your air still, whatever to make spirits, or you can just go and do something called cheats wine, which is you get yourself a brewing bucket or a demijohn, you go out and you get yourself, it works out roughly 1 bag of sugar to 1 litre of orange squash, not orange squash, orange juice. You put those together and you add 3 litres of water to that, a little bit of yeast, keep it warm. That'll give you roughly 1 gallon per bag of sugar and per 1 carton of orange juice or apple juice, whatever you want to use. So that would cost you maybe £2 per gallon for wine, homemade wine. It's not too bad, it's drinkable. It takes about a month. You can go out gathering fruit, beat the crap out of it, stick it in a bucket, wait for a while. That will ferment on its own, turn into wine. It takes a few months. The cheapest way that I've found to make booze, and it turns out I'm quite good at this, and I did this in prison. Now, I did it by accident because you don't get many luxuries in prison. Prison in England, it's a fucking doddle. It is really easy. Even when they're trying to... I didn't have hassle with inmates, I had hassle with screws. Now, the way that I made booze made me a lot of money. Initially, I made money in prison by reading people's... Because I'm literate, I read people's letters, I explained legal terminology. I was able to actually just read home letters to the fucking inbreds who can't read and write. Also, a lot of people, they're not necessarily stupid, but they're from other countries, and so English is not their first language, so I was able to read for them. Another way that I was making money was I was cooking in my cell. You get a little travel kettle, like a little half-litre thing. I could take scraps people would throw away and turn that into a couple of gallons of stew, which all the gym steroid junkies in prison go for. But the main way I make money, I did 3 years and 4 months. I went in with about 50 quid. I came out with about 3.5 grand. Now, I made that money as well as a fair bit of other bits and pieces I came out with. Different story. Anyhow, to make the booze, all I did was, it cost me nothing. You get a fruit ration, or you can choose to have biscuits. You get a fruit ration with your meal. So I'd have an apple. I had an empty plastic container that had, I think it was just a jam or something, a little plastic tub, peanut butter. So I get the apple. I cut out the middle bit, take that out, get me sachet of sugar, because you get a couple of sachets of sugar per day. This is all free in prison. And you put your sugar inside the apple, you put your apple core back in, squish it one down, you put that inside your little plastic container. You either put it on top of the telly or in someplace warm, nice and visible. If it's visible, guards don't give a shit. What's in that container? It matters, sir, I'm saving it for later. You want some, you want some, you want some, you want some. They never eat food from inmates in cells. Never. Because they know you'll put your own shit in it just to get them to taste it. And after about 4 or 5 days, after about 2 days, that would turn into a fruit cocktail. It would start to ooze out apple sauce, apple syrup, within a day or two. Now, after about a week, I need to wash my hair. After about a week, that will ferment, and it will give you booze. Now, sniffing it will get you a little bit buzzed. But if you keep adding your sachets of sugar, you keep adding your fruits, just mash it up, put it in, that will all ferment into a nice big kicker. Then you can put that into a larger container and just keep adding to it. It got to the point where when I actually left prison, I had a big ass oil drum, but it was a kitchen oil drum. But I had one of those filled with hooch that I was selling on the wing and to the other wings. I had a nice little network set up. And you can make this, and it doesn't cost you a thing if you've got a little bit of sugar, a little bit of fruit. You don't need yeast. You don't need to go and get bread and squash it down and stick it under your armpits or scrape your toenails. You just need to get fruit, let it go off, it turns into alcohol. Things like oats will naturally turn into alcohol if it gets wet and warm.